Outer Banks. I'm Sue Artz with OBXentertainment.com and OBXE TV. The Outer Banks Brewing Station, located in the heart of Kill Devil Hills, is well known for their awesome food, drinks, concerts, and their innovative brewery. Today, we're so excited to have with us the owners of the Outer Banks Brewing Station, Reece and Aubrey Davis. So hey guys, thanks for being here today. We're thrilled we finally got you over here to be on the show.
Thanks for having us.
We found it.
Nice, nice. So I guess we'll start off. How did you guys come up with the idea of the brewing station?
You love starting this
one. It goes back to, we were in Peace Corps together, Thailand.
Wow.
Me and my wife were all down there.
Wow.
Yeah, so we met in Thailand. Christmas in '92, I think it was. These guys came down. I worked on an island, beautiful, and a bunch of volunteers came down. And me and Eric, Christmas Day, sat and drank a lot of cheap Thai rum and talked about going into business together when we got back to the States. And we got back and went our own ways for about 6 years, and then got together. And he came out from the West Coast, and
where I was brewing with the brewmaster.
Oh, wow.
Well, our old brewmaster, we were brewing at a seminal brewery out in Berkeley, California called Bison Brewing. And then the brewer there, another brewer bought our brewery, which was a little eclectic place right down the street from University of California, Berkeley. And we went and worked in the wine industry, and Aub called up and was like, "Man, I'm home brewing. You got to come out and see the Outer Banks since you're not there anymore." And so I came out. I came out solo to check it out, and then it was,
Nice.
you guys live here. It sucks you in.
I drug him from Corova to Ocracoke
to
show him
Ocracoke, check it out in April of '97, and Tina and I moved out in. We packed the van and saddled up in December of '97 and got here in January '98.
Wow, cool. So are you from here?
I was raised in Winston-Salem, but
okay.
my
so
grandparents
you probably came
have
here
had
to
places
the beach all the time.
every summer.
His grandfather worked on the bypass back in the 50s, something like that.
Wow.
They were from Hartford, but yeah, we've had houses down here since the late 1800s.
Wow. Well, that's cool. You guys were able to connect that way, because you definitely are successful and been around for a long time now.
Yeah, we're feeling older. Yeah.
We started out, one of us, I was married, and now we're both married and got 5 kids. So
I've been dating my wife
14
since
years.
'92. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I guess you still like each other, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
We've been together a long time.
And yeah, you guys are definitely different than a lot of the other restaurants around here.
And different than probably a lot of restaurants, period.
Right. And one of those things that makes it different is because you have that wind turbine, and that was like the first one powered by restaurants and stuff in the entire United States.
Yeah, there's been a few that buy wind credits.
Okay.
And whatnot, but as far as we know in our research, we were the first ones to have it on the site.
Right, and you actually, it was like a struggle, I guess, to be able to be allowed to build something like that.
That was him and his bureaucratic wrangling experience.
Yeah, started in 2002. We tried to get a zoning ordinance change so we could put it up.
Wow.
And it was shot down 3 different times. Came back in 2007.
Even though it was popular supported. Once again, the people want something. But, the powers that be, for various reasons that more concern them than the people, they skipped on it.
The Board of Commissioners.
Right.
Yeah.
Back in the day. But they saw the light.
Yeah, eventually
well,
they
eventually saw the light. That's because we got involved in politics.
Right.
And backed a couple of candidates that were a little more forward thinking.
And as we all know on the Outer Banks, it basically growing up in Chicago, there's more people in my high school class, which was all boys, than there are that vote. in Kill Devil Hills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yes.
But that's the way it is.
Wow. So what gave you the idea to want to put the wind turbine up? Like, did you see it somewhere else or?
Well, in Peace Corps, I did solar panels.
Okay.
In archipelago in southern Thailand, Andaman Sea. Remote ranger stations where they had, they were basically out of touch 6 months out of the year because of the monsoons. So, and I'm a mechanical engineer, so that's my background.
Wow.
But when we started the pub, we were trying to be as green as possible.
But without a, business background.
And without a trust fund.
We got served when it came to how the mechanics and logistics of opening a business. And truth be told, we were looking at something. We wanted like a tiki shack with a little brew system.
Yeah.
And we ended up, because we were struggling to get the financing together, we did it piecemeal, so we got together enough financing to pull off buying the land. So we found a spot that's the old JK's. People forget that JK's original site that burnt down is where we're at right now, which was the best spot. And people back in the day thought we were insane for purchasing that spot. Of course, land values change.
Right, that's like the best spot to be.
It's a great spot, but it also, when you do it like that, which we then found out, you have to maximize your square footage, yada yada yada. Come to be told, we ended up with a 200 seat restaurant, which, I cooked through college, but not on. Industrial level. That's a big level.
Yeah.
And worked down into Radish actually also, brewing for them. So we knew a bunch of people. So we were in with the right people. And at the time, there was a mass exodus from Ocean Boulevard. So we picked up a lot of high caliber people that were in the know and were very talented. And we've been blessed with getting a whole string of talented chefs to pull it off. And then my wife went to culinary school for baking. So, and then we brought, we invited the brewmaster that I worked with in California out. So we knew we'd have good desserts and good beer. And then we had a couple key players, so we knew we'd have good drinks, and we knew we've always tried to hire people that we like.
Yeah.
So we ended up with not saying we're nice guys, but we ended up with people that are at least that are nice people.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely important.
Well, and if they, it's like that movie Rudy, you're rooting for them, even if they screw up your order, you like them. So
right.
Like, keep going.
Yep.
Keep trying. You'll get it right.
Yeah. So were you guys like when you first met and talking about and you had the idea of the brewery, were you guys like actually drinking beers together?
Actually, I think what predicated the whole thing is he got up one morning and then me and another guy brought him a glass of orange juice that we had spiked the living hell out of with
cheap Tyrone.
With a little Macron, and that got him going, and then the whole day kind of rolled, and we were
to the point where all our friends left us.
Yeah.
We sat in this little open air restaurant,
I can picture that.
drinking rum, playing cards, talking about the future. So,
and when we, these days, for better or worse, most guys aren't. It's not like our father's age. Like his dad worked for R.J. Reynolds and a couple of big companies that you started with and you ended with. And these days, there's not that kind of. Companies aren't. They don't share the love.
Right,
so unless you go out on your own, as you all know. And have done.
Right, but it's not easy.
It's not easy, but I think everybody, you'd rather work hard and have the end result be of your own doing, win, lose, or draw, and at least you played, rather than rather than slug it out for somebody that you're not sure cares.
Right. Yeah.
And in these days of CEOs making bazillions, you know, it's
Right. Right. And that's the worst is when you see them making millions and then you see that they don't care that much.
Right.
You see their
And they don't-
companies losing money and they're still making bonuses.
Yeah.
and they don't live here, and that's one thing we've gotten to see and help be a part of is this community, as we all know, is actually spread out over a
It
long
is.
distance, but it's a very small community,
Mm-hmm.
and it's neat to see that within the restaurant world. We're an independent restaurant, and where there's a strong group of independent restaurants here that support one another, and all the owners live here.
Right.
So the money's staying here, and we've tried to buy local, and it's getting easier to buy local. When we first started, it was hard to get, believe it or not, local fish unless you were going to get down in your car, drive all the way to Wanchese every day.
Right.
But the math doesn't work. So now, out of NC Catch, organizations like that have banded together to help get local food, the local Vor movement, Curry Tuck Greens, you know, things coming in from local areas to make it possible that we're all working together, and we're all keeping everything here, localizing the economy.
Right, yeah. Well, one thing we've noticed through doing all these interviews is if you want your restaurant to be successful, you know, one of you is probably there almost all the time.
Yeah. Well, and his
Between
wife,
our two wives and us, yeah.
yeah, and his wife is the floor manager, and up until for the first 13 years, it was just us three as the primary primary floor managers and GMing the business.
Wow.
Yeah, and now we're spreading out. I moved, the last brewer left, another brewer came in, I'm brewing with him in the brewery. Which actually turns out that keeps one of us in the building from before we open to, the very end.
Yeah, and speaking of your brewery now, you've started selling your own craft beers.
What technically we've been selling it from the get-go. But I think what you mean is we're all holding some of this tasty canned conditioned lemongrass wheat ale.
Yeah, it's really good.
Shameless plug right here. But the good news about this is where it's changing is if you've ever been to our brewery, it's this crazy pack. The front of the house is very nice, and then our brewery is this jerry-rigged, packed in, oversized, and tiny space.
It's a 20-ton brewery in a 10-ton room.
Yeah. It's a lot packed into a little space. But a lot of people don't know that our building, one of those lessons we learned in business was that bottleneck at the bar that we've all been through and caught, and you're like, excuse me. Even the two of us aren't dumb enough to build a building like that. The building was 9 feet wider.
Okay.
Was supposed to be 9 feet wider, so the brewery and the bar and the whole building shrank by 9 feet. Which is a long, ugly story. But when it shrank by 9 feet, we ended up with the 20-ton brewery. Actually, it would be good to call it it's a 20-barrel brewery, but it's in the size of a 10-barrel brew house, which is beers is. A brew house is named by its barrels. A barrel of beer is the old way of measuring beer. It's 31 gallons, which is why our kegs are 15 and a half is a big keg. People sometimes wonder that.
Yeah. Do you guys do like tours or anything, or is it just too tight back there?
We do. We
This
started.
tour leader.
Yeah, we started it last year, the year before. And you have to give. The caveat emptors and the disclaimers at the beginning, because it's like a fight. You have to protect yourself at all times, and because it's just like working in a submarine. Watch where you're stepping. But we're trying to rearrange it now and fix things. But back to the shameless plugging. What this is, this beer, we're finally getting out. Before we couldn't get it out because of the size of the brewery. we couldn't get it but a few places, you know, trio chips, sweet teas, up
Right.
and duck, a little bit here and there, a couple restaurants, but it was us, like literally me getting in the truck and driving
Right,
it over to
yeah.
somebody. And you know, you can't really pull that off. It's not sustainable on a larger scale.
Mhm.
So we actually this year, last month we brewed it. Next week we can it, and we'll have it up and down the beach.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is really neat. Harris Teeter, I believe is going to lock in
Nice.
on and then brew through. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
that's
really
awesome.
exciting. So everybody will be able to get in, and because it's contract beer, that spreads around the wealth. I.e., we don't make any wealth on it, but other people will get the
Right,
wealth.
right.
But the good news is it'll get out, which is what we're intending.
Right.
But contract brewing is like a marriage. You know, you got to really get to know the other brewer before you do it. It's sketchy.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is a stepping stone to go somewhere else with it. You know, go on a
And
bigger
it's
scale.
St. George out of Newport News, which is actually going to
Okay.
be
Yeah, then they've been
brewing
around
it
a
and
long
canning
time.
it, and then Coastal Beverage will be distributing it.
Yeah,
So
so
you
you'll
don't
see it
actually make it on
We
location.
go up there. We make lemongrass wheat, and we have canned it for the last few years
Okay.
at the brewing
But now it's
station.
getting too
Now
big.
it's gonna, because we don't have the
Right,
space.
right.
I mean, if you look through that little window and see us
Yeah.
in there, you can't. And mobile canning came to North Carolina a few years back, and it's another amazing process that
Yeah.
allows us to do
Yeah.
it. But prior to that, we had this little one-head filler, and two guys work 15 hours and get 50 cases of 12 bottles to a case. That's not much, and you all know from driving around it's sometimes pretty busy.
Yeah, definitely.
So it doesn't take but a second before that beer's gone,
Uh-huh.
and then people are like, "What are you guys doing back there if you can't make beer?" And then the
Yeah.
logistics, mechanics of actually getting it into the can is difficult.
Right. Yeah, I'm usually I like my red wine. I'm not too much of a beer drinker, but this is like really good. Did you guys like come up with the flavor together?
You know what? Actually, the first we were into the it's a Bavarian style wheat beer infused with lemongrass.
Yeah, you taste
Scott
the lemon.
Meyer, terrific brewer, wacky guy, who
Mad
has a long
scientist.
background in wine, came up with this. Years ago, we started doing it in 2002, and won a American beer festival award for it. A Great American Beer Festival gold medal. Was it gold medal for it? Silver medal for it.
World Beer Cup.
World Beer Cup it won, but it was a popular beer from the get-go, and you could see why, because you said it yourself.
Yeah, it's good.
I drink red wine. When people come in and they're like, I don't know what to get, you know,
Yeah.
what do you normally drink? I don't drink beer. I give them this.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
It is. It's
wow,
really good.
this is different,
Yeah, it is different. Yeah.
And really, he's a huge fan of it. I'm a fan of the wheat beer underneath, but the lemongrass is intense for me.
Yeah.
But we have a no maps on our taps philosophy where we go. We only do 2 beers year round. We only used to do 1, and that was a coal style beer. And that's back then it was not a popular style of beer. Now you can see it in a lot of places, and we ended up calling it Olsch because everyone would forget the K. They couldn't pronounce it. They'd stumble over it. It's a German style, so it's got a little umlaut over the O, and everybody, I don't know
Everybody's
how
like,
to
how do you
say
say
it.
that?
Yeah, and we dropped the K, and everybody got it after that.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know we were over there probably 6 months ago, checking everything out, taking some pictures, and we love how you have
6
the outside.
months ago. Hold on, you got to come more often.
I know,
Good God.
I know. And we should, because we do have an 8-year-old, and
Yeah.
you guys got
The biggest
a yard
backyard in
with
town.
a playground, and which is awesome. So mom and dad can drink, and the kids can play. And but one of the most impressive things is while we were there, I saw your chef come out and literally pick herbs to put plates and cook with, which
Yeah.
was really, really cool.
That's pretty fun.
So that's obviously something that you guys probably encourage, and
Yeah.
your dishes are probably.
He's the Mad Pepper Man of 4th Street. Everybody, yeah, if you live down here and you live on the west side,
Huh.
you've driven by his
You
house saying,
can't
good
miss
God,
it.
what's going on over there?
Wow.
We take over the right of way and 3 neighbors' yards.
Wow. So I guess they're cool with you doing that.
Yeah.
No, it's against their will. He just forces it.
Nice. So you guys also have a lot of other stuff going on, like events wise. Do you have anything coming up soon?
Your
May
boy.
11th, we got a guy named Mike Love,
Mm-hmm.
who is a reggae version of Keller Williams. And he's on
Which, if you don't
your
know,
site
he's,
right now, so check it
multi-instrumentalist.
out.
You know,
There's a
they might not know.
10.5-minute video.
Definitely
permanent-
worth checking out.
Permanent Holiday. It's insane.
Cool.
About the 4-minute and 30-second mark, he goes back and starts every little sound and builds a song out of it for 6 minutes. It's
Wow.
It's
Isn't he
incredible.
Hawaiian? Is
yeah,
that it?
yeah, it's from Oahu.
So he's like a one-man band,
He's got a drummer. Yeah, the 2-man band.
two-man band. Nice. Cool.
He's a one-man band with a friend.
Yeah. Cool. And just in general, like to these sort of concerts, do you sell tickets or?
Usually it's a roll up on the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, and you know the Outer Banks. Good God, you could have the Rolling Stones here, and no one would buy a ticket ahead of 2 days before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Pre-sale tickets on this beach are painful.
Yeah, definitely. So,
But I got to get a plug for you guys. Thank you for getting word out on events, because we definitely
no problem.
need it, because I don't know how many people over the years go, oh man,
I missed that.
I missed that.
Yeah.
We heard it was
Yeah.
great.
But
Why
you
didn't
guys-
you guys
was
get
it-
the word
yeah,
out?
word
We're
out.
like,
You know,
it's
it
on
was
radio. It's in
TV,
print.
radio.
Uh-huh.
We
Yeah.
did everything we can.
Yeah, yeah. Online really is pretty much where it's at.
Yeah,
now,
social
you know.
media is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Painful is it?
So, are you in charge of booking the bands and stuff, or is it both of you guys?
We got a guy.
Vinton Fountain, yeah,
We
he's
always
our
got a guy.
talent buyer, sound and light
Nice.
guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you ever like tell them a couple of your favorites? Have you
Well,
ever had
yes,
one of your
no.
favorite people?
Yeah,
perform
we've
there?
gotten Porter Batista and Stoltz. I mean, we get a lot of like the venue is so small, like that it's tough. And we do if we were set up differently, we could do a lot more big events. But you literally have to, for those that don't know, you have to lift up the tables and pack them all on the side to clear the stage to be able to do something. So to do that on a nightly basis is difficult. So we do it, a few times a week, and we clear it out. But the shows all have to start fairly late, so
Right, unless you're doing.
it's tough to get people in, and
Right.
then get people out. You
Yeah.
have parents.
Yeah, then they don't-
I mean, they're like, why can't you have a 9 o'clock show? Because it's dinner. You know.
Yeah, but you do have. Last year you had your backyard. It was early from like.
Oh yeah,
and-
acoustic musicians.
yeah, and
every day
people
of the
can
week.
bring their kids and just hang
That's
out
a
and-
great, and that's a great use of local talent too.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah.
will you be doing that again this year? You
Brilliant.
think?
Oh,
during
yeah.
the summer?
We start about the
Couple
20th,
weeks. Yeah.
7 days a week,
Nice.
up until about the 10th of September.
Cool. May 20th.
May
Nice.
20th,
Yeah.
it goes 7 days a week, and we've got a great lineup this summer.
Awesome.
Some really good. We got Christian from the Sound
Mm-hmm.
doing Fridays. We
Cool.
got Kim Coleman coming in. We got a guy named Joey Booza who's absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm
we've
excited about it.
We've had English Beat on the stage. We've
Wow.
had
The Wailers.
Burning World from P-Funk All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Fishbone,
Mm-hmm.
classic old ska, you know.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome.
Tim Reynolds.
Tim
Oh, yeah,
Reynolds,
he's
multiple.
great.
He's a local though.
Yep. Yeah. We always see him just walking around with his coffee.
wandering.
We're like,
Now
there he
his
is.
Sprinter van
Yeah.
cruising up and down. Yeah, he's a hoot. He's a character.
Yeah, and then you do other things too. I remember,
And talented.
Yeah.
also DJ for weddings,
We
and I
do
have been on your
DJs,
stage before, so
our
people can
famous
rent out your whole
Ladies'
place. In ladies' night too, yeah.
They can rent out our place in off season. It's again, that's a numbers game. It's difficult. People call up and we do our mezzanine section does a lot of rehearsal dinners and that kind of. But as a reception hall, we're not very good because you have to rent out the whole place and you have to displace our dining and our bar and all that stuff.
I think they did they cleared all of the tables out so they could. You had like a nice dance floor and stuff. But,
must have been deep off season because you're not pulling that off in July.
No. Gosh, it was probably like 10 years ago now, maybe too.
Also another point,
Yep. Awesome. Well, I know you guys are like super busy and stuff, but I'll just ask you one more question. Our favorite one. If you get a day off, how do you like to spend it here on the Outer Banks?
Wow.
Well, for me, I think I'd have to find a good surf spot for my oldest daughter who's gotten into surfing big time, and hopefully there's a deep hole next to it where I can fish. And my littlest one likes to play on the sandbar, and we just hang out on the beach for the day.
Nice. How about you? Same thing, or?
I guess I'm all over the board. I have 3 kids, as you know, and a couple surfers, 1 sand player, and. We get a bunch of the families together, and we all bring out the blended drinks and sit down there for the day, and that's a spectacular relief. Although it doesn't start till the water gets warm, really.
Which to me is like July.
Yeah. But prior to that, enjoying running in the woods, doing a little fishing, working on the house, which is always something
Never ending.
Breaking down.
Yep, I hear you with that. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for being here, we're looking forward to coming out to some of your events and
please.
The backyard. Do you have like a specific name for that? The backyard. It was like the backyard something you called it.
There's all kinds of names for it. I don't know if you can say many of them on TV. But we have a playground for the kids, and then we get the little tiki hut
and
trailer.
Like cornhole and stuff.
And we've been slowly adding this, that, and the other. This year we're going to put in, next week we're going to put in shade sails. So hopefully it'll be a little less hot.
Yeah, that would be good. Cool. Well, thanks again, guys. I'm Sue Artz with OBX Entertainment.com and OBXE TV, and we'll see you next time.